among us didn't anticipate this outcome? The ongoing backlash from the Snow White remake continues to make headlines, especially as the film struggles with dismal box office results. In response, Disney appears to be making its stance clear, particularly regarding the film's lead actress. Realistically, someone had to take the fall for the project's failure, and the responsibility seems to have landed squarely on the shoulders of the 23-year-old actress who, over the past year and a half, has been openly critical of the original animated film. She repeatedly promoted the idea that this version would be a modern reimagining, one without romance, a prince, or a conventional plot. Instead, the focus was on a familiar message. The female lead is independent, uninterested, in love, and aims to be a leader. It's a theme audiences have encountered many times before. Studios continue to present similar female protagonists, then appear surprised when viewers reject the repetition. This narrative might have resonated 6 or 7 years ago during the height of the girl boss trend in Hollywood. But after being used extensively across franchises like Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars, the theme has lost its impact. Yet some in the industry, Rachel Zegler included, don't seem to realize it. The results, however, are becoming increasingly difficult to overlook. After just 2 weeks, the film is officially considered a box office bomb and has received some of the lowest audience scores on IMDb. That, in itself, is remarkable. Given everything surrounding the film, one has to ask, was Rachel Zegler trying to compete with Brie Larson for how quickly one could derail a career? If films like Shazam and West Side Story, one of which was praised critically but underperformed commercially, didn't damage her career, her controversial remarks and interviews may have finally tipped the scales. Perhaps if Snow White were her debut, audiences might have been more forgiving. After all, she earned a Golden Globe for her role in West Side Story, and at just 20, became the youngest recipient of the award. Her vocal talent has also been widely acknowledged. These achievements are significant, yet they weren't enough to turn West Side Story into a commercial hit. The film had a reported budget of around $100 million, but managed only $76 million globally, classifying it as a financial failure. Several factors likely contributed to this. Its release during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, a broader decline in enthusiasm for musical films, and older viewers' hesitancy to return to theaters. All valid points, making the film's poor performance more a matter of circumstance than outright failure. Zegler, a relatively new face in Hollywood at the time, didn't have the star power to draw large crowds, even with Steven Spielberg directing. Still, the film earned her an award and several Oscar nominations, despite its weak earnings. Even though West Side Story didn't perform well, it didn't slow Zegler's career trajectory. She went on to appear in Shazam, Fury of the Gods in YEMA 2023, one of several odd DC projects released as the studio struggled to compete with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Despite the appeal of lead actor Zachary Levi, Fury of the Gods also underperformed at the box office. With a $125 million budget, it barely surpassed $134 million globally, earning the label of another box office disappointment. However, this film's failure wasn't necessarily tied to Zegler's performance. Like its predecessor, it may have fallen victim to poor timing, lackluster storytelling, and widespread superhero fatigue, a result of underwhelming characters and weak scripts from various franchises. Disney Plus, for instance, has also faced similar criticism. Adding to her public profile, Zegler took an active stance during the writers' strike that year, making notable statements during the months-long labor dispute.
Stand in solidarity with the Writers Guild of America to get better wages for everyone involved. Thank you so much.
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
This kind of attitude not only comes across as disconnected and tone-deaf, but it also followed the release of early photos like this one, images that essentially marked the start of what would become a highly criticized production of Snow White. We've all seen the interviews where Rachel Zegler remarked that the original film, being 85 years old, is outdated in its portrayal of women in powerful roles and in its overall depiction of what a woman's place in the world should be. So, when it came time to reinterpret Snow White, the goal shifted to focusing on the fairest of them all, as meaning the most fair-minded or just. Zegler even admitted that the original cartoon scared her, saying she only watched it once and never returned to it. Looking ahead, it's likely that in 5 or 10 years, Zegler might reflect on these interviews and public appearances and regret some of the things she said. Her comments often showed a lack of media training, and she appeared to overlook a fundamental aspect of Hollywood press. Interviewers aren't there to be friends. They're there to get attention-grabbing quotes or exclusives. And with Zegler, outlets like Variety and late-night talk shows certainly got what they were after. In one instance, she even described herself as a narcissist. Over the past couple of years, Zegler has also made several dismissive remarks about her co-stars, at times joking that their screen time might be reduced, comments that came across as inconsiderate. For example, she once joked about not knowing whether her character would find love, and teased that all of Andrew's scenes could be cut, quipping, "It's Hollywood, baby." Even though the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes performed well financially, much of its success has been overshadowed by the ongoing Snow White controversy surrounding Zegler. Public attention remained fixed on her every statement as anticipation built for the film. Each trailer, interview, or social media post from her seemed to generate more criticism, making it increasingly clear that the film was likely headed for commercial failure. Whether it was the overly familiar storyline of another independent, woman-led, who seemed to disregard the legacy of the original film, or the poorly executed CGI used to portray the dwarves, characters once known for their charm, humor, and warmth, audiences were left unimpressed. The new digital versions came across as lifeless and forgettable, widely viewed as an unnecessary attempt by Disney to sidestep imagined controversy. On top of that, the original songs created for the film were met with strong criticism. The lyrics were seen as uninspired, and the performances lacked energy, leaving a negative impression. This was only amplified by the widespread reaction online, where users on platforms like IMDb and across social media gave the film historically low ratings, securing its place among the most poorly received films in recent memory. The situation became even more apparent when the film experienced a 66% drop in revenue during its second weekend, its last chance to recover before competing releases like Minecraft arrived in theaters. With such a steep decline between the first and second weeks, it's now almost certain that Disney will have to consider Snow White another underperforming live-action remake. Adding to the controversy, Zegler used her platform during the movie's promotion to highlight her personal political views, something that didn't sit well with many, especially considering the hundreds of individuals involved in the film's production who were relying on its success. The response to her posts was so intense that a producer reportedly flew to New York to urge her to walk back her statements, a request she ultimately refused. And so, we're left wondering, what exactly was Rachel trying to achieve?
I'm a narcissist.
That's right. Many wish Jonah Platt hadn't given in to the online backlash that pressured him to remove his post, because everything he said had merit and raised important points. Not just about Rachel Zegler, but about any young actor or actress who believes they can speak without considering the potential impact of their words. Is the complete failure of Snow White entirely Rachel Zegler's responsibility? Not at all. She didn't write the script or produce the movie. She was handed lines, and she delivered them confidently. She openly described the direction of the film, and based on that, many potential viewers chose to pass on it. She made it clear who she was and what the film represented, and audiences took her at her word. So, while Rachel isn't solely to blame, she is the one who will most likely carry the consequences. Disney, which deserves significant criticism for the way this project was handled, will probably recover and move on. Zegler, however, will likely bear the lasting impact due to the controversies sparked by her interviews and public statements throughout the movie's promotion. Because of this, it's difficult to see her being cast in another major Hollywood production anytime soon. The ongoing controversies have led to her being widely viewed as a public relations risk, and that's not a reputation most studios want to take on. That said, she may still have a strong future on Broadway. I genuinely believe she could succeed. There, where the environment is less restrictive and public scrutiny tends to be lighter. She'd likely have more freedom to speak her mind without the same level of backlash. If that's the path she takes, I hope she enjoys it, because based on recent events, her Hollywood future appears to be uncertain at best. Thanks for watching this video. What are your thoughts on the ongoing Rachel Zegler situation? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section below and join the conversation. Until next time!